on today's episode, we are going to be talking about something a little different for us. Usually we have people come in and talk about their organizations and things of that nature, but this episode we're going to be talking about an event that is actually occurring in about a month, and it's something new, and I have to confess, I've had very little to do with it. I'm really just here to show my support and maybe ask a few questions. But we have Sarah, who everyone knows.
Hello, everyone.
And then Ashley Barger, who again, everybody knows. But I know the two of you have been working really hard, along with Jason Yoakum and several others, on this upcoming event called Ignite 419.
Yes.
So which one of you wants to tell me all about it?
Well, Ashley's pointing to me, so I will kind of kick it off because it originated in our offices. It's just one of those ideas, because we always have lots of ideas. And it really kind of spawned from having a lot of conversations with business owners in our community, people that had gone through our co-starters entrepreneur class and had been out a couple years, just reaching out to people that are out there doing business. What are your current pain points? What do you need? What kind of assistance would be helpful to you? And so through those conversations, we really found a lot of commonalities of, we were great when we got started and we felt like we had the right tools, but here's the things that once we got started, we realized we didn't know. A lot of it had to do with taxes and, when you hire your first employee and you have them on board, but what comes after that? So we just really started to kick around the idea of how can we assist? How can we assist? So it started with, okay, how can we create like a Co-Starters 2.0? And then it went to a small business summit so we could increase that reach. And then as we started to plan it, we realized this is a need that's so much bigger than just one community. This is common in our region. So let's try to get some really good quality people into this event and then open it up to the region. So that's really how the concept of a business summit rolled into Ignite 419 and kind of has turned into what we're inviting the region to. So it's really exciting. We're very excited about it. It's so much more than one person and one organization could take on, which is why we reached out to Ashley to be part of the creative team behind it, as well as Jason Yoakum with J Yoakum Communications. So we could really just make this a first class event. And that's what we've really been striving to do. Everything from, the morning session where we are bringing in Wildfire Leadership, and people will identify their working genius, kind of to help you get started identifying your working style, how you apply that to your personal mission and vision statement. Because when you run a business, whether you own it or you're a manager or a leader, it really all starts with you. You are one of the most important pieces in that. So we wanted the morning to really be focused on the individual. And then that goes into a keynote speaker that I will let Ashley talk about, because Ashley's the one that found her for us. So we have an exciting keynote, and then we roll into an afternoon of panelists. That the unique feature with our panelists is we are asking all of our registrants to submit questions ahead of time on that subject matter. So that panel discussion will kick off with the answers to the questions that the registrants want. And then as the panel evolves, we'll take live questions from the floor. So the entire afternoon is customized to what the attendees want to learn, which I think makes it a super unique event.
Absolutely.
So I'll throw it to Ashley, and you can kind of talk about the keynote and how that fits in that middle transition of the day.
Yep, and then I want to go back to the wildfire thing, because I do feel that Renee would have some background on that, because you guys went through that. But our keynote is Meg Adams. She is a TedX speaker, and that's not actually how I met her or got to know her. She's a professor at the University of Findlay, and I actually worked with some students, and they introduced me to her because she's that dynamic kind of a professor there, and force, essentially. But she has her own business, and she focuses on storytelling, and she began as a journalist. So storytelling was embedded in her career from the very get-go. So I just find her background extremely helpful. Just in any type of business. If you're not telling your story well, Jason Yoakum would agree with me on this. So, hi Jason, I'm going to keep throwing you in here.
He was supposed to join us, but he's under the weather today.
Yeah, it happens. So anyways, I just feel like storytelling is key in how you portray your business, how you portray yourself, how you connect with clients and customers. And if you're not connecting with clients and customers, then why? Right. So I really am excited for what she has to say. I think that her keynote at our event is going to be very different. She is definitely working with us and then drawing on unique experiences that she's had in her variety of fields and throughout her career. So I'm excited for that part. But even the morning portion of our whole summit, the Wildfire Leadership, I'm also excited about because I've heard both of you talk about it. So I don't know if you want to kind of pepper in a little bit of those teasers too.
I would just say, a few months ago, Sarah and I became certified wildfire instructors. And so we had to go through this entire process ourselves. And if you had asked me 6 months ago, Renee, what's your working style? I would have given you a generic answer. And, if somebody said, what's your mission? It probably would have been something like basic survival. And so through this program, it really, to Sarah's point, makes you take a hard look at yourself. Why do you do the things that you do? Where do you want to go? If you're having a bad day, it gives you something to reflect back on. And, somebody asks your working style and you might say, well, I'm a hard worker. Okay. No. There's so many other ways that you can take this. And after we went through it, it changed the way I look at what I do. It changed the way that I look at how I work with other people. And as a small business owner, you're working with, first of all, you're working with yourself every day. You can't escape yourself. But two, you're interacting with so many different customers, which are a lot of different personalities. It will help you in that aspect. And it will also help you, as Sarah said, when you go to hire employees. You will learn through this process what your, strengths are. So when you're looking for those employees, they can help fill some of the gaps that you've identified in yourself and your working style. So I'm very excited about that aspect of it for sure.
And with the Ignite 419, we're going to do kind of the basic the working styles and the mission portrait, and you'll learn about yourself, and we'll do an overarching view of how to build your team around that and how you can effectively run meetings if you understand the working styles of the people on your team, which I think is so incredibly valuable. Of course, there's a lot of different layers that you can add on to that and get further training down the road. But I think that that's such a key piece because as a business owner, building out your strong team and everyone's strapped for time. And if you know the styles you're looking for and people you're hiring, you can save so much time and turnover. Right. So that's so important. And everyone will leave with their own personal mission portrait, which is a visual reminder of your mission and your vision that you've created. And full disclosure, Renee and I went to the training together, and of course we had to do our own, and we dreaded it because we're those people we're going to do, and I don't necessarily want to sit down and really be that introspective.
Reflect, yeah.
And we were dreading it because sometimes that can be very difficult.
Yes.
The way that Wildfire has it laid out, it's so easy to do, and it's so incredibly accurate and meaningful when you've gone through the process.
It's almost taking like the SNFJ, like the personality test, and kind of combining it with the Enneagrams, all those big tests and ways that you can work with other people and make yourself and your teams more effective.
Correct.
Yeah, I love that.
Yes.
And what's interesting is every aspect of this, it doesn't necessarily have to be used just in your business.
Yeah.
No, right.
I could see where it would assist when dealing with your children or your spouse.
Well,
because everyone is different.
Yes.
And it really, I could see where it would kind of cross-connect across anyone's.
Yes, and I've said, and I have the luxury of being a facilitator of it, I said, I'm going to take everyone through my family through it. And I've taken a couple people through it in my family. And I have slated to take my kids through it because I think it's super important for them to understand their working style, but also to identify what is your mission and vision? Where do you want to take your life? What is important to you? And how will you use that? And does it align with what you think you want to do in the future? I think it's huge. So I'm a huge advocate for it. So we're excited.
Never too late. It's never too late to start taking that look, and then you'll just realize the change that it can make in your productivity.
Absolutely.
And we had the privilege of working with the Educator Boot Camp here in our community, and so we took all of the educators through it that participated. And there was one in particular that really, really struggled with the mission portrait. And I thought, man, I don't know that they're going to finish it, and really hated the process. And this, you might think that's not a huge selling point for it. But the next time that we were together and they gave their final presentations, he thanked me for pushing him to finish. And he said out of the week, that was a super impactful week, that was one of the most important things that he did and found the most value in.
Very cool.
So I think, it's a super meaningful process, and we don't all stop to take the time to do those things.
No. Yeah. Yeah, so the morning is kind of introspective, and then it's going to kind of cap off with our keynote, which is more outward, the actual story, how it looks and is portrayed. And then the whole afternoon is answering questions. Yes. Which is going to be great. And it's sort of, I feel like, could be maybe a little like TV drama, mini-series-ish, like Real Housewives.
It's a reality TV show.
It's going to be a reality. Yes, and it's going to be awesome because you're going to have all these different personalities and walks of life and career paths answering questions around a topic.
But what's interesting is every speaker and panelist that we have, and I'm going to ask Sarah to go through some of that.
Yes.
But they all in some way have walked a very similar path.
Yes.
Which is how they have been put on the panels and come to our attention. But the other piece of it I really like is, yes, we're hosting this here in Fostoria, but we have speakers from Bowling Green, from Findlay, from Tiffin. So it goes back to that regional approach that Sarah mentioned at the beginning of this podcast.
Yes, and so we've tried to hit the major pain points or things people would have questions for. So we have an HR panel, we have a finance panel, we have a marketing panel, and then our last panel of the day, which we've dubbed the tell-all panel. The others are Ask Me Anything, and the last one is a tell-all panel, and it's small business owners. So they're in the trenches living it, and we've really worked hard to find small business owners that are at all different points. So we have some that are relatively new, they've been in business maybe 1 to 2 years. We have some that have retired because they've sold their business. So we've really tried to cover the entire spectrum. So we have attorneys that are coming to speak on the HR panel. We have Bill Beach from RCO Law. We have HR professionals that work in the corporate world. We have a couple people that have kind of worked in a lot of different areas and have hired a diverse group of people. Our finance, we've got, of course, your traditional accountants, but then we also have people that have served as CFOs of companies. We have Steve Danduran, who has worked in a lot of different careers as, a CFO, as an accountant, who now currently serves as a city auditor. So, if you have city tax questions, or how do, municipal tax credits work, or how can I, help with my income tax issues, whatever that is, he's your guy. So we've really tried to hit a lot of different areas. And then in our marketing, we've got, of course, Ashley, one of our creative genius behind so many things that we do.
I keep getting suckered into this.
Hey, Ashley, be a guest on our podcast. We won't ask again. Hey, Ashley.
Yeah, we won't ask again.
But then, we've also looked at some people. We have Sarah Foltz, who for years served as the general manager of Findlay Brewing Company and did their marketing, which, if you're at all familiar of how that business has grown and transitioned, she was one of the driving forces behind that. She now works for the Hancock Historical Museum as their executive director, but she's a panelist on our marketing panel also.
Can I give a little background story on
Sure.
that? So Sarah and I used to do event planning together.
Okay.
And it was just side gigs for both of us. We had, full-time jobs doing other things. But we would work as event planners for weddings. So we worked for the same gal.
Okay.
She's based out of Toledo and Perrysburg area. But anyways, so I remember being at Alexandria's all the time with her, running, things for the bride and groom and mother of the bride especially. It's just so funny how it all comes full circle.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah, you never know.
And to be honest, I think a lot of people that attend the event, it will come full circle for them. I think they're going to see a lot of familiar faces.
I do too.
Have the opportunity to meet a lot of new people. It's a great networking opportunity.
It absolutely is, because we've tried to pull people in for the panels that are so diverse. Our small business owner panel, we've got a couple people that actually serve as economic developers in totally different areas, but are small business owners on the side. So we've got Chris Keller coming, who is a strong force in Findlay Hancock County. We have Katie Thompson from Bowling Green coming in. So we're super excited about our panelists and the event. So the event's actually going to take place on a Monday. That was very purposeful. We know a lot of people can sometimes slip out on Mondays, or maybe they're not open on a Monday. So Monday, October 21st, it will be held at Stacy's Place here in Fostoria. It is a full day of events. We will feed you lunch. That is included. So we're going to provide you with a delicious lunch. We're going to have a coffee and pastry bar for you. We're also going to have a business lounge, because we know sometimes it's super hard to get away and you're going to have to slip in and out. So there will be a room dedicated. It's our Friends Business Lounge, because Friends has been super kind to us, bringing in some special furniture for the business lounge, but also our stage, a little teaser. If you like the look of TEDx Talks, that's kind of what you're going to see at our event as well. And so it's a full day, and we'll cap it off with a networking event and have some cocktails if you're able to stay and really network. We've asked all of our panelists to stick around if they're able, so you'll have an opportunity to talk with them and just anyone who attends. So the full day is $125. You can learn more and get the full list of panelists. We're pretty full. We're still adding a couple more that we're trying to get into the event that I think would be great gets for us as well. But you can learn more at ignite419.com.
Yes, you can.
Well, I am very excited about this event. I know I've talked to a variety of other people that are already signing up because we have open registration.
Correct. And there were lots of people who signed up for the early bird. So sorry you missed that discount.
Yes, you missed the early bird.
But
yes,
there's still time, and this is going to be so worthwhile.
Absolutely.
You're going to come away not just with probably new contacts, but just so much more awareness and tools in your tool belt for your business or organization. I just think that it's so valuable. I wish I would have thought of this idea sooner. But I didn't meet Sarah until a few years ago.
That's all right. We're together now. That's all that matters.
But I would encourage anyone interested, go out to the website, get registered. Make sure you bring business cards that day, because you're going to want to hand them out and collect others. And I want to thank the two of you for all the hard work you've done on this. And we hope to see everyone on October 21st at Stacy's Place. Yes. Anything else the two of you would like to add?
I don't think so. Come, or you're going to be sad you missed it.
You will be so sad.
Because we're working to make this an every other year event. So, get here this year. Being on the ground floor.
Absolutely.
Ignite your fire.
Yes. Re-engage.
Re-engage.
Ask your burning questions. Do we have any more fire puns that we could throw in?
Oh my
Okay,
gosh.
I'm cutting you off. We're done.
Darn it.
We've
we were
gone
just
down that
getting
path. We are
started.
done. But Ashley, thank you so much for joining us again here on the
You're
couch.
a fabulous guest.
Oh, thank you.
And with that, we will close this episode of Shut Up and Listen
Small Town Stories
with Sarah
and Renee and Ashley.